right, so we have a very special guest with us today. This is Stevie the Barber. And tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, my name is Esteban Velazquez. Everyone calls me Stevie for short. I've been cutting hair for about 14 years now. I just graduated Hair Lab Detroit last week. I've been cutting hair unlicensed for those 14 years as well. I'm a father. I have a beautiful wife, a beautiful son. My son's 3. I just got married.
What are the failures that you cherish the most?
I would say the failures that I cherish the most would probably have to be not finishing school in the beginning of when I first started. I started school 13 years ago or so, or give or take, and then probably fresh out of high school, started school, and then I would go to school for a little bit, drop out, go back to school, drop out, and then now I'm 30, and I finally finished. So I would say that it means a lot more now because it was the anticipation of like getting where I had to be, you know.
If you could go back 5 years ago, what advice would you give your younger self?
If I could go back 5 years, definitely, 5 years, man, that was a long time. I would say probably one, obviously, finishing school is always, stay motivated, stay in the books, handle your business. But, another thing is kind of just watch who you do business with, watch, the people that you work with in general. Not everyone in this, industry has your best interest at heart. So, I took a lot of bumps and bruises and stuff, getting to where I am now. And I would probably just say, just be a little bit more smarter. With age, you get, wiser and stuff like that. But, I would honestly say, that would be it. That would be the most important part, just kind of watching, yourself.
What was one of the events that really made you open your eyes and say, I gotta go do this?
There was two very important ones. One was when the state board actually hit me. They came in.
So for some people who may not understand, what does hit me mean? What in the barber industry, when a shop gets hit, what does that mean?
So everyone knows that I have been unlicensed for the amount of time that I've been cutting hair. I mean, hell, there's a lot of unlicensed barbers. That's fine, but we're talking about me. So when you cut hair unlicensed, the state board comes to your shop just randomly, or if somebody files a complaint on you. And thank you for whoever, put that complaint on me, because otherwise I would never finish school. But, somebody filed a complaint, and the state board comes to your shop, they inspect your shop, and I never thought it would happen to me, Everyone, just like, oh, they're never gonna come, such and such. And when they do, they come, they hit you with a nice, fine, and that kind of put the fire in my belly to where I was just like, look, I gotta get this done. I was just like, I got tired of having other people hold this over my head, because I know the capability that I've had, to become successful, and the opportunities that I lost just because of not being licensed. It's kind of embarrassing to a point where you want to be up here and have a high expectation of yourself, and you want to go through that next door, that next chapter, but you can't because you're unlicensed. So that was the first reason. And then the second reason is because when I became a father, you start thinking more of a parent. And as a parent aspect, how can I, allow myself to not finish or complete something and be a role model to my son and my future kids, that I have. And my wife right now, she's in school, so we're trying to better ourselves for our family and my son. And what happens if one day she was just like, hey, you know what? I don't want to go to school anymore. I'm done. It's too hard. Such and such. Life happens, whatever. So I have to be the bigger example, and set the higher standard. Like, look, you know what? I did it. You can do it. I got to be the backbone. I got to be the one, that starts everything, because I'm a leader. I consider myself a leader, and now that I've accomplished this, I set myself up to a higher, expectation, and
You're very passionate about this industry. You've done some really cool and amazing things over the past. There's still a lot of people that that are unlicensed, that's working in shops. What would you tell them, or is there something that you would like to say to these people to encourage them to push forward, to go back to school, to get that license? What would be your message to someone who may be on the fence about, I'm getting money right now. I'm making money. Nobody's come to my shop yet, so I'm good. What would you say to these young men and women that are working illegally?
Honestly, I was that person, so I'm speaking from experience. Of course, everyone loves the money. Everyone, wants to build a clientele. You want to walk before you crawl. So what I can tell them is, I thought of this was just like me getting my license was just going to be a piece of paper. It was just like, hey, it's something that I needed to, get past the next door. It's more than that. You feel so much, you have some more pride in yourself and, more integrity in yourself by doing this because of the hard work that comes into it. So I get, that life happens. Hey, you're a father, or, hey, something happened. I got child support. I got to provide for my kids. I get it, but I never understood the other people that have completed and got their cosmetologist license or their barber license or whatnot, and the struggles that they went through, so I could relate to them now, because when I finally did it, it was just like, okay, I see the struggle. So it's more than a piece of paper. Definitely do it, because, when that barber board does come, and they are going to come, rather if somebody's going to hate on you, or if somebody just has it out for you. It was just like, hey, it could be another professional, person with a barber license or cosmetologist, and they're the ones that call the board on you, because you're affecting their business now. And just because you can cut good hair doesn't make you a good, barber or stylist or whatever, it may be. Because there's more to it than that. One thing that we've learned here at Hair Lab Detroit, education is not an option, it is a must. Because there's more to it than just cutting hair. There's the sanitation part. And a lot of people, they don't know the basics of it. They don't know the stuff that you can get, with contaminated clippers and stuff like that. They don't know how to sterilize and, sanitize everything. So it's a lot more than just cutting hair. So a lot of people think that you can just honestly pick up a guard, then pick up a comb attachment, and then just start, cutting hair. It doesn't work like that. That's just a certain percent of that, but, if you want to, hold yourself to, just one set, standard, like, okay, you know what, I can stay under the radar and just be this barber right here and never achieve higher goals, because when you try to set foot in those other goals, they're going to ask for your paperwork. And if you don't have your paperwork, then, at the end of the day, you're not going to get anywhere.
I love that response. You say that opportunities don't go away; they go to somebody else. That's something that we talk about all the time. What opportunities? And you don't have to go into detail, but if you had to count how many opportunities you've missed out on by not having a license, give me a ballpark number.
I'll say at least over 30 for sure.
Like with major manufacturers?
So other places of business that ask for me to do a class and whatnot, and then when they want to see my credentials, I don't have anything. That kind of makes me look, very ignorant, and just pursuing myself, further in my career. Do I want to cut hair for the rest of my life? I wish I could, but in all reality, that's not possible. So I have to find something else in the same industry that I would like, to be in, to find something, but you're not going to get there without your credentials. Not possible.
You're now a licensed barber. I feel like you have like this renewed spirit, this renewed vision of what the barber industry is. What do you think is the biggest challenge right now in the barber industry, and how would you solve it?
The biggest issue right now, I would say the amount of unlicensed barbers that are in this industry. There's so many, and I'm not, pointing fingers, and I'm not putting myself on a higher pedestal because I'm licensed. I would like to see other people, succeed. That's what a leader does. He builds other leaders. So my thing is just the education that you're getting in the schools. Choose your schools wisely.
And you're not saying that they have to come to Hairline.
No.
They can go to any barber school.
Any barber school.
As long as they go to school.
Yeah, as long as they go to school. Find something that works for you, because one place may not be for you. And then that's the same thing when you get into a shop. One shop may be not, be the shop for you. That might not be your dream. But at the same time, it's just education. There's a lot of people out here that want to be Instagram famous, and they see what they see on social media, and they want to be that person. But all they're doing is selling you, just a haircut. That's all they're selling you, is just a haircut. Not one time on social media do they say, hey, let me show you a video on how to, sanitize your clippers, or the bacteria that, grows, or how to properly do some, just sterilization or whatnot. Some people are so quick to manipulate and do what they see on social media, but that's just false advertisement. Yeah.
I love that. Your first haircut.
Oh man.
You've been cutting hair for a long time. Tell me about your first haircut, and what kind of emotional state were you in when you actually did your first haircut?
Oh man, God. All right, well, so for my first haircut, Jesus Christ. So my first haircut, I remember always going to the barbershop, and I've always been intrigued of cutting hair. So I've always, asked questions, and at this time I was probably about 15, 16, give or take. And then I would always see the clippers that the barbers were using. So I remember it was my birthday. I asked my mom, I was just like, hey, I want some clippers. She was just like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. It was probably another thing, a phase that she thought I may have been going through or whatever. Because my dad used to cut my hair. It wasn't a good haircut, but he cut my hair. And then, but I was always intrigued with it. So I remember my mom took me to the store. She seen the clip bucks or whatever for some wall seniors, and she was just like, "I'm not paying $80, $90 for some clippers. You're out your mind." Or whatever. So I was just like, well, these are what they use. She was like, look, I'm gonna take you to Target. We're gonna buy some $20 clippers. So we did that.
Because you got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere.
Right.
So went to Target and then bought some Conairs, and man, those things heat up quick. So didn't know anything about cutting hair. I just kind of tried to do the exact same thing that the barber, did in the barber shop. I had my buddy. Shout out to Brian. He was one of my first clients, and I didn't even know what a straight razor blade was. So yeah, I didn't know what a straight blade was. So I always seen, barbers take out like the little packets that the blades come in and they snap them in half. And to me, that always looked like the pack that when you buy a box cutter blades. So I would fade up my buddy or whatever, and then it would take like 3-4 hours for me to do a haircut on him because his scalp was all burnt up, or whatever, from the clipper, tape breaks, and it was horrible. And then when it came down to the razor shaving, I would grab the box cutter because I thought that that's what it was. I didn't have the holder for the razor, so I just literally had the box cutter and the blade, and I'm just trying to like cut his hair. And at the end of the haircut, it looked like Freddy Krueger got a hold of him. Yeah, so it was pretty bad. And I had a couple other victims out there. Shout out to the victims that don't want to come back to me. But they're still good friends of mine to this day. Like I've gotten better. I'm licensed and everything. But yeah, they're like they would just say, nah, man, like I'm good. I don't want to go back or whatever. I was like, man, look, man, I'm good. I'm better. Look at my work. Yeah, man. I'm just I'm just kind of scared from last time. Man, that was like 13 years ago. And then one incident, it was my brother. I remember my brother, he asked for a mohawk, and he was like, hey, can you do some stars on my head? I was like, sure, no problem, man. I can sit down, I got you.
That confidence.
Yeah, I got you, no problem. Didn't have the right tools, didn't know what the hell I was doing, and then ended up looking like geometry was on his head. Trapezoids, all kinds of stuff, yeah, but, I literally had to shave his head bald to fix it, and he was upset with me. Sorry, Alicio. But yeah, that was it.
How do you develop yourself outside of your work environment?
Well, one thing that I've always learned was you can never stop learning. So no matter how much you think you know, you don't know everything, and you will never know everything. Because somebody out there knows something different. He maybe knows how to do things faster or new techniques and whatnot. So I'm always engaging myself to learn more. And then, I push myself. I keep pushing myself to see what the new trends are, and push myself to be able to do certain things instead of pigeonholing myself just with the basics. So yeah. That's it.
Okay, my next set of questions is going to be a little difficult for you, and I'm doing this on purpose because I want to really get your honest opinion about these questions.
Okay, there we go.
Your favorite clipper?
Well, as much as you hate it, but no, I'm a wall person. 110% wall through and through. That's just me. That's what I love. That's what I've been cutting hair with for pretty much my whole life, and it works for me. I've tried. Don't get me wrong. I've tried other clippers out there, but I'm a wall guy. I got walls tatted on my arm. So it's just I'm wall through and through.
Top 5 barbers.
Ooh.
And it could be nationally or let's do it like this. Top 5 barbers in Michigan.
Top 5 barbers in Michigan. Ooh, man.
Top 5 licensed barbers in Michigan.
Oh man, that one's hard. You know, can we pass?
Okay.
Shout out to Zoo. You know, shout out to Nature Boy. You know, I've always said it, like, he was one of my favorite barbers. And there's other barbers out there that, you know, I want to say, you know, you guys are killing the game, you know, but I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, you know, but they know who they are. You know, I've worked with them before, and I've already said it 110%, you know, like, that I think that they're out cold. I mean, their talent is crazy, you know. Love you guys.
Shears or clippers?
Well, my whole life I've been using clippers. Within the last 3-4 years, I would say I'm switching more over to shears. There's a lot more shears involvement in your cuts now. Back in the day, it was just like, hey, give me number 1 or 4 on top or whatever, and then, you know, fade the sides. That was easy. Now you're getting real detailed and stuff like that, so that's where I feel like the barber is, you know, changing into, like, you're becoming a barber / stylist now. So yeah, definitely more shears. I started to like it a lot more. So, I'm wondering, I'm curious to see what new styles and trends are going to come, and then also what, I don't know if it, I would say like maybe what the board or what somebody would do about unlicensed barbers, or you know, to see what the schools are planning on doing, because I know there's a lot of, like, you know, negativity about, like, hey, you know, why do I need to go to school? They're not teaching me nothing. You know, I've been to school to where, you know, not me exactly, but I've heard people talk about it where they'll go to a school and, you know, they don't teach you nothing. They don't teach you, know, they just feed you to the wolves or whatever, and, like, hey, figure out yourselves. So I want to see, you know, like, what they're planning on doing to further their education, and, you know, bringing more people in to the schools and teaching and showing, definitely bringing more instructors in the school too, you know, because we need a lot more instructors that actually is more hands-on with the students, because when you only have like 1 or 2 instructors in a school, and you got like 70 kids that you're trying to attend to, it's definitely hard. It's definitely, I feel like students don't get the attention that they need and the help they need right then and there. So definitely, you know, doing that. And then, I don't know, yeah, just maybe allowing cosmetologists to make up their hours, you know, because if they're 1,500 hours in
like a crossover
program, I would like to see that, because I don't feel like a cosmetologist should have to go the whole program, you know, 1,800 hours, you know, after they have already completed 15, you know, so, yeah.
What motivates Stevie the Barber right now? What inspires you?
My son, 110%, you know, I wake up every morning, you know, see him and try to figure out, you know, how can I better myself, you know, for him. You know, how can I be a better man for him? You know, and my wife. You know, I love my wife, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's just me and her. We're trying to provide for him, and, you know, make sure that he's set, you know, for the future. And, you know, I want to be a great role model for him. So.
All right. So over the years, you have created a great reputation for yourself. Not only as a barber, but you put on some events early on in your career and stuff like that. You notice that on Facebook and Instagram, like social media, people are really, they have trolls, and people are getting really, really mean. How have you learned to shake off your haters?
You know, I feel like this works for me. The best way that I handle stuff like that will be just keep pushing and be more successful. Because, the best revenge is success, and people hate it, And if people do hate on you, then you're doing something right, because you're giving them a reason to talk about you, so that's free advertising from my end. So, my name's being mentioned, so obviously I'm doing something.
Since getting your license, how has your life changed?
How has it changed? It's only been 2 days.
It's a good change.
Yeah, no, I feel more at ease in life. I feel more relaxed. Definitely don't feel like, can't nobody hold it over my head. A business owner, another barber, another individual in general, hold that against me to keep me down low, so now since I've risen to the occasion, got my license, you can't tell me, excuse my French, but you can't tell me shit. I'm not scared of the barber board coming in, and then if the barber board does come in, I'll be the first one at the door to here, I got my stuff, that's it. So, other than that, I think that's really what made it change. I'll let you know probably a few months from now and see how everything else comes into play. But if more opportunities, pops up or whatever for myself, then yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the next chapter of my life and seeing what other, opportunities come my way.
As an industry leader, would you rather be feared or respected?
Definitely respected. Fear, doesn't get you nowhere. People fear you or whatever. They're just, around you just because, they fear you. Or they fear what you can do to them. Rather if it's, you being an owner and then you have unlicensed barber in your shop. You're under their control type deal. So, if I don't work for this guy, he's going to call the board on me. Or if I try to do my own thing and I'm unlicensed, he's going to call the board on me. But, being respected, I definitely, it's more of a moral thing, People respect me, my clients respect me, their kids respect, you just grow as an individual, and I definitely feel like I should be respected.
Why do you think that people should really, really work hard and not expect the participation trophies?
Because there's one. To me, the best things in life come from hard work. So it means a lot more for it should mean a lot more to you, as because it does for me. When you work hard for it or whatever. Like I said, even if it has to deal with cutting hair, nothing's handed to you, So when it's not handed to you or whatever, it means a lot more. As a parent, you buy your kids, a $200 pair of shoes, but the kids, since they don't pay for them, they're out stepping in mud, splashing their feet, just dogging them. But when you actually pay for them out of your own pocket, it means a lot more. You're out there cleaning them and stuff like that. So I definitely feel like, the best things in life come from hard work.
I've had an opportunity to meet your mom and your dad, and completely just really lovely people. I adore your mom. She's always very supportive of what you do. Your dad always come through. You use him for your model for your state board exam. Some of the things they taught you about life and being a young man, what would you tell them? How would you tell your parents thank you for what they've done for you?
Honestly, give him a better Christmas present.
Nice.
No, honestly, there's probably, I don't think I will be ever, I don't think there will ever be enough that I can possibly give them for what they've done for me. You know, they've been supportive for me, like you said, like, they've been there since day one, you know, through the good, the bad, and the ugly, you know, like, I mean, they've never given up on me. You know, they knew my situation of, you know, cutting hair, unlicensed, you know, they still supported me. It wasn't their decision. They definitely told me to keep going to school. And the times that I would go to school, stop, go to school, stop. And, yeah, they've been there, you know, unconditional love and, you know, trust me, you know, in a million ways, I wish that I could definitely tell you thank you for everything that you guys done for me, you know, and I love you very much.
Over the last 13 years, from cutting in the basement, I remember you got pictures of the basement, had your shop in the basement, you started to work in shops, and there was one shop and there was the next shop, and you faced adversity, but you overcame all these things. What have you learned about yourself?
And I kept, you know, no matter the situation, no matter the problems, I overcame everything, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You know, the spots that I've been to, like everything that I've been through in my life, happens for a reason. You know, I feel like that's God's way of testing me, you know, of how strong I can be to overcome this obstacle. So with that being said, yeah, you know, like, you know, I definitely think, you know, at that time, I didn't understand why things were happening the way they did, or why things were being said, you know, the way they were, or whatever, you know, like, but at the end of the day, you know, like, I realize now it was just a test. You know, he was testing me, you know, before I could become great, like he knew I could be. So, yeah, definitely think him.
Is there an achievement or a contribution that you're most proud of?
Definitely being able, as a student, to host Michigan's first Barber Expo. You know, I was a student at the time and did it for 2 years, and every year was a success. You know, first year killed it. You know, it's never been done before. You know, I had shout out to Zoo and everyone that participated and everything in that. The staff, the vendors, you know, the attendees, you know, definitely appreciate everybody. People from out of town. Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing achievement for, you know, myself, because it was something that I wanted to bring to the state, the city, and just to give people back, because give back to the people, because like I knew how much talent was here, but it was just slept on. You know, I would always go to the other shows and support other shows, and there was no support in our community. So I definitely felt like I wanted to do something for the community and bring back something for us so that we could call our own. And it was, you know, it was an amazing, you know, event. Definitely great positive reviews, you know, and it grew just a matter of, you know, a year. I remember I only had, you know, like 8 vendors that I had to just, you know, go out and just find, you know, just people, you know, it's like mom and pop shops, you know, like stuff that didn't even have to do with barbering, you know, like I had at the show. And then by the second year, I, you know, made a name for, you know, myself and the brand. And like I said, we had a lot of help, and we tripled, quadrupled, you know, the amount of vendors and people that we had, you know, like I had like over 30 vendors, like it was crazy. Second year was a great time, you know, and like if it wasn't for the people that, you know, supported me and had my back, and then the people that were involved in it, you know, I don't think it would have been as big as it was.
You start the Motor City Barber Expo. You had success first year and the second year. And then you stopped. What was going on in your mind as to why you felt like you needed to take a break from it?
Two reasons. First one was because I felt like I was selling myself short as being a student, and I would, I guess, take advantage of the help that I was getting from the school. You know, I let the show take over me. Like, you know, that's where I wanted to put all my time into or whatever. And I stopped going to school. You know, and that was the thing that the school told me, that they were like, hey, you know, we'll help you, we'll support you and stuff like that, but you gotta finish your school. And I didn't hold my end of the bargain. So that was one. So I was cutting myself short, and to go out there and trying to promote myself and get other, you know, make it bigger than what it already was. I felt like, you know, like when people start asking me, like, hey, you know, what's up? You're not even licensed, you know? Like, you know, people start talking, this guy's not licensed, so how is he throwing a show, and how is he promoting barber shows and stuff like that, and he's unlicensed, you know? Like, who else is unlicensed that is involved in it or whatever? And that was one. And then two, when I got into it, was when I felt like everybody and their moms wanted to throw a hair show. You know, everybody wanted to throw it. Every week there was a hair show somewhere. And, you know, it could be here, it could be, you know, somewhere out of state. And, you know, when I did it, I wanted to do it big. You know, big venue, go all out, you know, go big or go home. But then, like, the shows that I would go to, you know, would be at, like, a banquet hall or something like that. And I just felt like it was more of a hustle for other people, where I was trying to make it, you know, like, global. You know, I wanted to be, you know, that next big thing. And then I just started noticing that, you know, when I was it was being, you know, saturated, you know, and I just kind of wanted to step away from it and make sure that I got my credentials together first before I continued or, you know, making any other investments or whatever. Because I don't look over my shoulders anymore. I ain't gotta look over my shoulders. I ain't gotta worry about the state board coming in and again hit me with that healthy fine. But yeah, man, it feels great. It feels great. Can't complain. You know, like, definitely thought it wouldn't affect me as much. I thought it was just gonna be a piece of paper, but man, it's definitely something more. Definitely. You know, feel good about myself. You know, feel like I accomplished something. You know, so it's a big deal. Big deal.
Give me an inspirational message for students coming into the barber industry.
It's one of my favorite ones. Education is not an option, it's a must, you know?
That's awesome.
Yep.
All good.